Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post. Marvel's Daredevil flops after Disney ruins Marvel's brand. When Disney was announcing that they were acquiring Marvel, a lot of us back in the day were kind of concerned that maybe this wouldn't work out so well because of Disney's reputation. Well, it worked out a lot worse than we ever thought it would. They made some changes to Marvel and the direction of Marvel, and a lot of people were disappointed, but people were disappointed at a level that you couldn't possibly imagine. They didn't just make all the characters softer, they changed what the brand was all about. Now that they've done that, and they're trying to reverse course, and they're doing reshoots and relaunches, and they're trying to get people interested in Marvel characters again, it's not working. From Cosmic Book News, Daredevil flops, Born Again misses Nielsen charts. This is a series that I know a lot of people didn't love and didn't feel like it was as cool as the original series from Netflix, but it did get some good reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, 87%. IMDb, 8.5 out of 10. Metacritic, 69%. I mean, not massively amazing reviews, but it's still pretty good reviews. It's not like people hated the show. They've gone too far with the Marvel brand. They disconnected it from what it was, so people really aren't that interested in going out and trying to rediscover the show. And as much as Disney has committed a tremendous amount of money to making Daredevil episodes, keep in mind, as part of the original deal, all the Netflix episodes were very cheap. That was back when former Marvel owner Ike Perlmutter was involved with Marvel Television, who was notoriously cheap, but he also knew what value was. He knew what people wanted. He wasn't a fan of comic books. He got involved in the business because there was an opportunity to make money with the toys, and then eventually he wound up taking over Marvel. But he did understand value, and he understood what customers would actually want. They were able to do 60 episodes in a 2013 deal with Netflix of their television for Netflix for around $200 million. That's opposed to Disney's standard budgeting of $25 million for a Marvel show. So at roughly, almost 10 times the price. You would think you'd get at least as good of a response to the content that Disney's producing for Marvel. It's not working out that way. What they really need to do, as crazy as it sounds, is pick up the phone and see if they can get Ike Perlmutter back to take over all of their television production. I know it's crazy, but since they're trying to do whatever might work, that's the first thing I would do, because what he did in the past actually worked. If you want to consistently be successful, the first thing you have to do is figure out what people want and then figure out how to give it to them. And the best way to do that is to just look at what works and give people what works. Ike Perlmutter, head of Marvel, let's make it happen. From Cosmic Book News, Daredevil flops. The 2-episode premiere of Daredevil Born Again doesn't appear on the Nielsen ratings charts, confirming suspicions that the viewership for the series is low, comparable to Echo and Agatha, among the worst MCU shows on Disney+, alongside Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk. Why should they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on something that people don't first think of when they think of Marvel? Not in any positive way. Echo, who cares about Echo? Agatha, Ms. Marvel, these are not things that people ever cared about. And of course, with She-Hulk, they had hoped to launch Daredevil out of She-Hulk when She-Hulk was already a failure itself. Sometimes things come out and they're a failure because the budgets are too high and it's rejected by the fans. But even if it was a financial failure, but like a critical success, or the fans loved it, the core base that you think that you have, the people that represent all the value in the brand, even if you lose money, but you keep the fans happy, you can make money on them later. That's normal mentality when doing business and trying to have a consistent success. Marvel used to operate that way, but they haven't operated that way in years. Nielsen is automatically turned on in your Disney Plus account and is the industry standard for viewership ratings. As Amazon's Invincible returns to the charts after having dropped out with 465 million minutes at number 10, and since Daredevil Born Again is not listed, that obviously means that Daredevil Born Again came in under that number. Agatha actually did make the Nielsen charts with 426 million minutes with its 2-episode premiere, but we see if Agatha was released the same week as Daredevil Born Again, Agatha would not have been listed. Agatha also disappeared from the Nielsen charts, but returned with its 2-episode finale. Disney did release official viewership numbers back in March for Daredevil Born Again, stating the episodes drew 7.5 million views in the first 5 days. Agatha hit 9.3 million views in its first 7 days. The Daredevil Born Again Nielsen ratings are somewhat around 426 million minutes or lower. We'll have to see if fans binge watch Daredevil to see if it ends up making the charts. Daredevil Born Again was heavily promoted and had the benefit of being shown first on Netflix. However, quite simply, what it means is that Marvel fans aren't watching Disney+. They've tuned out, and most likely they've also unsubscribed from Disney+. There's nothing on there for them. They're not interested in shows like She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, Echo, Agatha, or massive failures like Secret Invasion. Something like 90% of fans that went to see Deadpool and Wolverine, which actually was very successful, are not watching the MCU on Disney+. Star Wars also did not help things on Disney+ with how bad The Mandalorian Season 3 turned out and The Acolyte. Nobody also tuned in to watch Skeleton Crew. And it wasn't just a Netflix series that gave Daredevil a great starting point. Daredevil also had a cameo that really worked for him in Spider-Man. And at that time, they didn't have the new Daredevil episodes. Even going off the old Netflix episodes, Daredevil did crack Nielsen's top 10 rankings because of the cameo in Spider-Man. From Deadline, this is from January 2022. Daredevil cracks Nielsen top 10 ratings 3 years after cancellation following Spider-Man cameo and Hawkeye Kingpin reveal. How much more of a setup would the Disney people need to make these shows? They have every possible advantage, but they threw it away. So now when you say Marvel, what's the first thing you think of? It's not what you used to think of. It's disappointing projects. From 2022, Marvel's Daredevil appears to be making a comeback 3 years after its cancellation by Netflix, ranking it at number 8 on Nielsen's weekly US streaming chart of originals for the period of December 20th through December 26th. The series has sparked new interest following the recent cameo of Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, played by Charlie Cox, in Spider-Man No Way Home. Additionally, Murdock's arch nemesis Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, was revealed as a key part of Disney Plus's Hawkeye storyline that week. Daredevil logged 195 minutes across its 39 episodes. Number 3 Hawkeye garnered 938 million minutes across its 6 episodes for its highest viewed week to date. Daredevil, starring Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, received 5 Emmy nominations over its 3-season run, all done with low-budget shows thanks to Ike Perlmutter. The series centered on Matt Murdock, a blind lawyer by day and vigilante by night who fought the crime of New York as Daredevil. That's the advantage they started with, and this is the flop they wound up with. And it's not just Daredevil, it's part of this poisonous culture and destruction of the Marvel brand that Disney's been doing for years now. Captain America hasn't been doing so well either. From Cosmic Book News, Captain America Brave New World, embarrassing for Marvel, has not hit $200 million domestically. Marvel's worst disaster was The Marvels, coming in at $206 million worldwide. Mostly the people that watch this relatively closely, I was one of those guys, we projected that the Captain America movie would come in between The Marvels and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania did $476 million worldwide. That was just a bad movie. And it wasn't like even complete, like the special effects weren't complete when the movie came out. But the movie came out and it did badly, but not as badly as Captain America Brave New World as we pretty much predicted. Right now, Captain America Brave New World is at $413 million worldwide. And of course, they spent a ton of money promoting it. They went to a lot of additional expense with reshoots to try to fix the movie. Didn't work. So they'll lose a ton of money on this, just like they're losing money on Snow White. The whole purpose of doing sequels and having a brand that people can count on and people just don't even question, they're like, yeah, I want to keep seeing what goes on with a continuing story, is so that people know what they're going to get when they go see something or when they go spend money on something. You can't hijack a brand. Just mechanically, you can't do that. The physics of that do not work. If you try to hijack a brand, you pretty much ruin a brand. You can't just take it over easily and turn it into something else. That's like a mystical art to be able to do something like that. It almost always fails, and it completely failed here. Captain America Brave New World is turning out to be a complete embarrassment for Marvel and a massive bust at the box office. In its 8th weekend, the film has yet to hit $200 million domestically and has barely cracked $400 million. Both the domestic and international fans haven't showed up for Anthony Mackie as Captain America or Harrison Ford as Red Hulk. The Captain America Brave New World box office has been compared to Quantumania, but looks to be coming nowhere close to Ant-Man's $476 million worldwide. Recall following Quantumania's similar poor performance and reception that Marvel got rid of Kang the Conqueror. Kang, who in his personal life was found guilty of beating up his girlfriend or something. Way to go, Marvel! Will the big-time failure of Captain America 4 have any repercussions as we go into Avengers Doomsday, the next Avengers movie? Anthony Mackie has been confirmed to be part of the cast. Chris Evans is also rumored. Aside from Spider-Man and Deadpool and Wolverine, nothing from the past 6 years' worth of MCU has been successful. Those properties are also legacy properties, which means nothing Kevin Feige has introduced following Endgame has resonated with fans. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.